Well, there you go. Okay. We're such a small audience. I just felt like while we're waiting for people to get out of their long extended meetings, I could meet the people I had not yet met. Because isn't that what we do in support? Hello. Okay, but first I'll start by introducing myself, I guess. I was just gonna bust in, but no, I will start by introducing myself. I am Debbee West. I am the support manager. And most of you know me. I have been around here for, you know, in 1987, I started with digital in Santa Clara on Augustine Drive or whatever it was. Okay, so started over there, moved to Colorado, worked in the support center. And that was in VMS 4.7, I think. And it's like John Cedar says, you might have seen him earlier. We know timelines based on VMS versions. We don't know years. Okay, so then moved to Colorado. I was on the RDG, which is the hardware team. And then I was an original founding member of the VAX 9000 team. Whew. And then that turned into the gold team. And then I think we busted into gold and platinum at that time, or we adopted digital Unix and then busted into gold and platinum. And then I went into the TCP/IP world, where I lived for many, 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 many moons. And I have a guest house in the TCP/IP world still. And I'm the support manager of the two most beautiful teams on the planet. Okay, so if you have anything bad to say about my people, you can say them. I will know their lives. Okay, but to talk about, so today's talk is about how you could potentially get the most out of your support contract with VSI. Okay, but to talk about that, we need to kind of go through a little bit of a journey about what are the support contracts? You know, what does the team look like? And then we can get to the meat of the 5 minutes that we led up to of how to get the most out of these. Okay, so there'll be a lot of introductory kind of things, which may bore you, may not. We will see. So, when I interview people, I tell them right up front, within the first 5 minutes, I'm going to be messing up. So let's just get comfortable up in here. I'll probably make the first mistakes. If you're not making mistakes, you're not breathing. Okay, so let's talk about the support team. We have a level 1 team, we have a level 2 team, and if we cannot figure it out, we do have engineering. Now they know, since some of them are in here, that I consider them part of my family as well. Okay, but let's talk about the level 1 team. We have just over a dozen level 1 team members to cover 24/7. Some of them actually are part of our 21st century partner, and the rest are VMS focused. Okay, so we are partnered together so that all of us can provide support 24/7 for VMS and for 21st century customers. Okay, that just is the best use of our resources. So when you first call in, you could get a team member who, I could have called them my kids, and I was told that's very inappropriate, but now I learned yesterday that they're actually my babies. So you could get a VMS baby, which, you know, really is more of a introductory level VMS person, or you could get a 21st century person. So when you call in, you're going to get someone who can screen your call, get your details, and they may or may not be able to help you. It's just like any other day at VMS, because if we roll back the clock 2 years, if you called and you got me on the phone and you were asking about a crash dump, I'd be saying, let me get your info and someone will get right with you. Here's your Dropbox. Okay, you'll get the same thing from the level 1 team today. So really, unless you know the answer, you're not the guy. And then we have the level 2 team. So if the level 1 team feels like they cannot answer this or they don't want to, they will get a level 2 person. They may involve a level 2 person, even though they're working the call. So you may never know that a level 1 person has a level 2 person in the wings. Okay, so we kind of work together very nicely. It is really almost makes me cry some days how beautiful that is. So we have our level 2 team. The level 2 team then would take over if the level 1 team needs assistance, doesn't want to work it, or let's face it, there are some problems that just need to be worked by a level 2 team. And our level 2 team has been around. If I say that I'm like the young one on the team, you get the idea. They've been around a long time.
Are you saying you're the baby on that team?
I was the baby for a long time on that. Well, Mark McGregor's not here, but he was a baby. Jay So used to be a baby, but now they were gone. That left me, the young one. Okay, so if we can't figure it out, we may call engineering and be like, hey, does this make sense to you? And they may just help us and we may get through, okay? And we may be done here. And then, of course, there could also be an elevation, in which case they are actually engineering, right? So we kind of consider them an unofficial part of the team, and we are thankful to have them. Trust you me. We cannot understand everything. We just can't. So that's kind of our structure. So let's talk about the kind of contracts that we would be that are available for purchase from us. We have the bronze, which is your entry-level contract. I have to look at the screen because I don't know what they are, right? We have the silver, we have the gold, and we have the platinum, okay? So some changes are happening. We have way too much metal for all of this. It's too complicated. So we're simplifying things. You'll see this as we go. So let's talk about bronze. Okay, a phone number is given to you to call in and talk about support, talk about your case, okay? And it could be, you know, most people don't call unless they're, I'm going to say most people don't call, and then the ones that do are either having, they're in a situation, you know, maybe stuff is down, maybe maybe their situation is, I have this much time to deal with this, okay? So people who call in are kind of an immediate need, whether or not the problem is severe or not, okay? Because, I mean, most of even our crashes are not even, when I started in the RDG, oh my God, people crashed. It was like, oh, we had a crash, the world is on fire, okay? And nowadays, it's like, oh, my system crashed, it's back up, you know, it stinks to be me, and let's get this taken care of. And, you know, they're not panicking if they don't hear the answer for 2-3 days. You know, in the old days, it was, we have like an hour or two to analyze your dump and we better get back to you. And people are really freaked out. Today, people understand crashes do happen. So you're going to get your phone number. You can call that if you like. You're going to get also an email address. I neglected to put that up there, but we'll see that later. So with bronze, you're going to get the right to have get access to your minor releases of a VSI product. You're also going to get, you know, your right to update here, your upgrades, and that's all on the portal. So then your technical support is 9 to 5 in your time zone, 5 days a week. So what happens if you call on the weekend? Oh, and that does not include our holidays because we do want some time off. Okay, but if you call in on the weekend and you have a bronze contract, are you going to be turned away? We have the right to turn you away. Okay, that is a fact. Will we turn you away? Questionable. I mean, if you, that's questionable. And we have 4 hours to get back to you. Okay. So silver support's going to get all of those fun things, except for that the response time is going to move into the 2-hour range and you're going to get 24/7. So if you really feel like you want to have that insurance policy of being able to call on the weekend and know we will be there, and get to you within 2 hours, you need to upgrade to at least silver. Okay. And I don't know how much more that costs. I'd be like, oh, and it's like upgrading to extra legroom, but insurance policies cost. It is what it is. Okay. And we will cover you on the holidays. Gold support, we decided we had too much metal in our mouths. So we are deprecating gold support, and it is available only in integrity. And I think when I say available, you guys can tell me if I'm lying here, because remember, I'm breathing, I'm making mistakes. Okay. But when we, I think as the gold contracts expire, they're going to be moving. Oh, they're going to be deprecated. So if they have gold now, they won't be able to renew gold. They'll be renewing at platinum. We're deprecating gold. At least that's what Jan told me. So the nice thing with gold is that you get your 1 hour response time now instead of 2. Okay. And if you spend more than $100,000 on your contract for the year, you will get an assigned TAM. A TAM. Oh, I'm sorry, technical account manager. We'll cover that more later in another slide. So you'll have someone who is assigned to your account who knows about you. Okay. And then you'll have quarterly meetings. Most of the customers don't opt to not have their quarterly meetings, but you can have quarterly meetings with your TAM. So in platinum, what you get over support gold, you also get a yearly patch analysis. The yearly patch, an immediate response time. And again, if you want immediate response time, you cannot send mail. You're going to need to call, okay? Because just sending mail implies it's not critical. So if you have critical, you need to call. Okay, so let's talk about the patch analysis really quick. We don't currently have a patch analysis tool that adds value to someone who spends platinum money. Someone who spends platinum money usually has a system admin staff that is well capable of figuring out if they have patches installed, okay? But part of what we do for customers who have platinum who would like it is we run some T4 reports and look at the general performance, and we have a guy who manually goes through the things and makes sure that it looks like your system is doing okay. So you can have that once a year, and you can have Dave once a year, not this Dave. You can have a Dave go through your T4 reports once a year and see if life looks good or if we have anything that we would like to recommend to you. It's sort of like a manual system health check, only the system health check of the old days, if you guys ever knew about them, was a little on the fluffy side. So again, if you paid over $100,000 for your contract, you could afford a decent system admin who didn't need us to tell you that your page file's too small. Things like that. The report would call out obvious things that a decent system admin would have proactively found. The system health check of the old days would have been better served to customers who didn't have decent system admin. So
Can I comment on that?
yes, please.
So the yearly patch analysis, what you're basically saying is that somebody who's got a big contract probably has somebody who does that. And I'm just going to point out that in the last year, DSI has changed the portal dramatically.
Yes.
Such that, including naming conventions and the fact that there is no longer a named patch for each version that's on support, it has made it very difficult, in fact, broke all of our tools, and I suspect broke anyone else's tools that would have done the patch analysis. So,
But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more.
There is definitely, I don't think that you can count on, anyone at this point doing patch analysis the way they should. We actually are kind of in a holding pattern. waiting for the website to maybe get stable again. And by stable, I mean with what you're actually putting up there. So there's a hole there, and the assumption that people are doing it is not, I don't think, accurate based on the changes you made in the last year.
When was the last time you checked
But
the portal?
last week. So I mean, I look at the portal almost daily because I have to now. We used to have a tool that would take care of that. And now I have to. But then it becomes vague because even the way patches are named, right? So you can have, 842L1 and,
And it really applies to 2L3.
So,
Yes.
A patch with 82L3 in the name is also a patch for 82L1 and maybe other things. So it's even hard just going by naming. So what used to be consistent, and I'm sure people have tooling, et cetera, that's all changed, and I think that a lot of people don't necessarily have this.
Well, it disappoints me that you looked possibly this week or last week because we have updated that. So maybe we'll talk about it when we get to the portal. Okay, so when you call support, we should have this information ready. I mean, okay, because really the point of the talk today is how to get the best out of your support contract, right? If you are not ready with this information, then you really weren't ready to dial the phone, right? Because you should you should know who you are, right? And your phone number and your email or the contact person who's going to be working the call. Certainly you know who the company is. A lot of people, we've gotten a little lazy right here with your bond and your contract number. So customers call in and the level 1 support, I don't know, it's supposed to take out their crystal ball and know that customer A is using this contract right now. Now they may find customer A, they may not. Customer A may actually be called something else because the contract was sold under some other name. So really the VON will get us there. And sometimes the email will get us close, but it's if we could take the guessing game out, it would certainly make our lives better for the level 1. And then can you imagine you're all frustrated, your stuff is broken, you just want an answer, and the L1 is struggling to find you. This is just a frustrating experience, I know, because I call my doctors on a regular basis, right? They can't find me. Are they sure I know how to spell my name? Or am I sure I know how to spell my name? Pretty sure, So if you have this available, there will be no doubt which contract we were looking for. And some customers have multiple contracts. So again, we're looking through, is this the one? Is that the one? It would just take some trouble out of the whole experience. And then a problem statement. The problem statement can be tricky, right? Because sometimes you get my blah 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 is broken. Okay, that's legit. Sometimes what happens is that the person who is making the call has troubleshot a while, and they have decided upon what the problem is. And so then we get the call and we're like, I don't even think that's possible. Obviously we're going to have to call back or get it transferred. And, but we need a problem statement. We have to start somewhere, right? Okay. So when we email support, we'll do the same thing. But when we email support, it would be super nice. We're trying to train our customers up front that if they sent over the VSI dollar support output in HTML, the VSI dollar report with the host name .html, it makes, for those customers who can, right? It makes our life better if we have some information up front. Because in all of the TCP/IP calls I've worked over the years, or the other calls I've worked over the years, hardly ever do I need to care about the VMS version, right? I don't really care about that usually. But there's things I care about. What patches do you have installed? because maybe this is a patch problem. And we could know right up front, could have answered you right away going, hey, that was solved in patch, yada, yada. Okay. We want to know the host name, because once we start populating these host names, we'll be able to have some historical data, and we'll be able to see, oh, host red 5 had this same crash 6 months ago. If we start populating this data, then we can have the historical data. If we don't start populating this data, you have to remember. So we would like to know, because if we looked at your red 5 crash 6 months ago with the same crash and it's the same footprint, then we can, have this conversation about why we didn't fix this problem. It could be the customer doesn't have time to install the patches. Okay, then we're not surprised this crashed again. If VSI hasn't fixed the problem, again, we're not surprised we crashed again. If if we just haven't quite gotten there, or if the customer didn't even know it was the same crash. These things happen. Okay. So we want all the information from before, include the VSI dollar support output, and you're going to mail to support@vmssoftware.com. Okay. Now, I don't recall if I put an x86 slide. The x86 email goes to spsupport@vmssoftware.com. There you go. And we have those separated because oddly, it makes sense to us. For x86 problems, it still feels a little like the new frontier. So we're looking at so with our regular calls, we know how to deal with these. We know how to deal with these. The x86 calls come in. This could be, like the first question you ask yourself as a support person is, should this be working? Okay, on Itanium and Alpha and VAX, we pretty well know that answer. On x86, we may or may not know that answer, right? It depends on the call. If it's if an OpenSSH call comes in, and that's really more of a when an OpenSSH call comes in. If you're on Alpha, we found bugs that only affected Alpha. We would have presumed that if it worked on Itanium, we should still be good to go. That's not necessarily true. With x86, for sure, though, we want to know, that this is an x86 customer. We want to have it. We want to take a kind of a different look at that. I'm struggling trying to figure out exactly how to explain that, but.
Did it go straight to engineering?
No.
No, right.
Okay. I mean, there's no need to involve engineering in things we could solve.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we take a look at our x86 calls, if you're, first of all, it's an evaluation. Okay. So evaluation is really 9x5. It's a bronze. Okay. But it's an x86 problem. If you were an x86 customer who just called in, we would like to fix this. We are very, very deeply invested in making our x86 product fabulous. So we want to take a look at these calls. We want to make sure that we as a support team are learning what we can from the calls. We want to make sure if it needs to go to engineering, we're still learning what we can selfishly from these calls, because if it comes in again, we want to be able to solve it ourselves. So the x86 calls kind of have their own thing going. And it seems a little odd to me. The x86 calls were originally logged on the portal, okay? The x86 users are used to sending in the VSI dollar support output without question. Log the call, send it in. They're used to it because they had to put it in originally. Those same customers get over here to the Itanium and the Alpha, and they want to know why we want it. So I'm like, can you just send it in over here? But it really does help us right up front know where your system is at. And it gives us, your sysgen parameters and I brought an output if we want to look at it. Okay, so x86 calls are going to go to SP support. You could also phone in.
Are you keeping that database? Are you keeping that information in a database? Like
The SP
VSI support info?
no. Okay, so, there's laws about that in different countries. Oh, Daria would like to speak on that one.
We do have regulations in different countries, but we do have a privacy policy on our website, so if all the data that gets stored follows the privacy policy. We do remove it if you ask us to remove it. We do store it securely, and yeah.
Yeah, and from personally, I've been working with Bob Muse, our IT guy, who set all of this up, because when we get to something later in these presentations, when you start sending these in by yourself again, and we're able to log our own calls on the portal, personally, I would like to see those expire in 30 days. So we have to put them somewhere where we know we can clean up if we want it. If we decide to automatically clean up, we need to have that option. So yeah, we try to keep these clean. We try to remove them after we are done with them. And really, let's just take a moment about the VSI dollar support. So if you logged a call last week on your and you sent us a VSI dollar support, and now it's this week, you're like, why should I send it in again? Or should I send the same thing in again? It could have changed, right? I mean, things just change. If you live my life, you don't always remember that you changed things. People could, if you have more than one system admin, things have changed. If you have someone, more than one person with privileges, things get changed. Even in our own lab, we're struggling with something right now where we had an automated script and someone changed it. And it's a pretty healthy, ugly mess of a script. So one of my quests next week will be to find someone who can dig into this giant spaghetti script and repair it. And I'm kind of hoping we have a version -1. We probably have a backup, but I'm hoping we at least, it would be nice if we had a version -1. Then we could just see, does that one work how we think it should? So yeah, we prefer a VSI dollar output from today. If that's not possible, that's not possible. I mean, and seriously, if your system is down, you're not sending in a VSI dollar support. It is what it is. If you're calling to say, I can't get on the portal, you're not sending in a VSI dollar support. If you're calling in and saying, what's the latest version of, we don't want this, okay? Don't spend your time on that. If you're calling in and saying my blah, blah, blah is or is no longer blah, 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 then we want that because it will save us at least one set of emails. And when you log the calls via email, it's like, okay. And then I hear back crickets. Okay, so now we're delayed. And then probably about the time I'm going to go home, I get my mail. I'm like, so now potentially we could have had this call done today, but now we're moving in tomorrow because we didn't have enough information to get started. So, have that. So let's take a little quick look at the portal. I tried to get Lindsay, my right-hand woman, I don't make a move without Lindsay, okay? But I try to get Lindsay to come over here and demo the portal. Where the heck is the, I can't find my mouse. See, this is why I need Lindsay. My mouse is missing. Seriously.
Open the screen up, that's.
Thank you.
It's right there.
It's behind you. Right? Criminy sakes. It's like I tell the new kids when I hire them. When you have been in support for a while, you have made so many public mistakes that you are no longer even flustered by this. And you have typed incorrectly so many times. It's sp.vmssoftware.com. So we're going to just use my account because there are things that you would not be able to see because obviously you are not me. But the important things, I haven't logged in, but the important things, and thank you. See, this is why I need them. I mean, they keep me humble. It is all good. Oh, I think I typed that. Okay. When you say I have to drag it over. Oh, I have two screens. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. No brains, no headaches. Let's not worry about it. Packages. All right. So I log into the portal. Oh my God. I can be taught. See, I should have worn my old dog new tricks t-shirt. Okay. Oh my God. Now we have to do it backwards here. Don't save my password. Okay. So when we log in, we get like here. Welcome back, Deborah. It knows me. We're not gonna pay attention to that. We're gonna go to the packages. Our patches have now become packages. I don't know why. Okay, so here's as we were pointing out, sometimes the names of these don't really imply what they would be going to, but so we should be able to look at titanium patches. Notice here that this active MQ is going to go on 2L1 and 2L3. So does that help your situation?
Yeah, it does, because if you were to type in key threads in the search.
We can. I mean, okay, so.
Given a version of 2L3, it comes up empty. But that probably solves the problem.
That I'm not going to say this is true or false. I'm just going to say.
Maybe it might just be P thread.
What if we say P
thread, and then
and then
select the version of L3. Keep that.
Okay, good.
And the OS version of L3, which we know there is one. And then what's it called?
Yeah, P thread.
You have to do here.
Yeah.
Search.
Is there like another?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right after the D and hit return.
Thank you.
Yeah, see, so there's no P threads for L3, but there is.
Well, let's see what we get if we don't search for that.
Right.
If this comes up in our P threads.
No, it's still not gonna come up. But what you're gonna do is make OS version list all of the applicable versions.
That is what we are working on. Okay. Because remember we had that master kit list back when we had BSI FTP?
Only told me it's coming back.
Well, it is back. It's just not fully populated.
Okay.
Because Lindsay and I were talking about it yesterday and she's like, well, the alphas are not working.
Okay.
And then I'm looking at some of the titanium ones. I'm like, well, we have my tether. We clearly have some of these labeled appropriately.
Well, it's
It's called VMS.
Right. Yeah, no, it's there, but it's labeled as, the name includes L3, but the version just says L1.
Hmm?
That's what, if what they're gonna do is.
I was gonna get rid of this.
To the default version, so it'll be fast. And that's new.
Thank you. Right. Well, we just started populating this. So this is, I think,
Well, it's been a systemic problem since you shifted to the portal.
Yes,
Since you
absolutely.
closed the FTP site and shifted to the portal, it's been broken. So, you know, and I did communicate with Oni, and he was basically saying that that master list is coming back, and I wish it would. But, you know, the answer is going to be to populate the OS version field with all applicable versions.
That is our,
Yeah.
right. So we were like, do a manual master kit list. We were kind of a no on that.
Yeah.
Because so for those people who have no idea what this is, we had a master kit list. And every time a patch came out, we would put things on there. In the old days, you even got the information about whether it required a reboot and its priority, right? The last one I looked at, I think had the date, well, it had the kit name, obviously. It had the date and the applies to version. I believe that it actually even put this, like this 2L3 kit applies to 2L1. It put it on 2L3 and 2L1, I believe.
Exactly what it's about.
And then for me, when I looked at it, the nice thing was I could go to 2L3 or 2L1 and the kits were in order. So I would know if I put on update 5 and something was above that, it was not in update 5. Okay, we're not getting that part back.
No, I think the list will work as long as you can, you know, use that as a key, which you can.
Right, so now what we decided would replace, how this could work. What we decided in the team. Let me see if we can fit this on. Oopsies, a little better. What did I do? Maybe. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so we decided it's going to be the best we can do from that list, which was in chronological order, was to leave the release date. So sometimes what happens with a package is that it gets released on the 17th of April. And then we realize that this patch isn't exactly what we wanted. So we will pull it back down. And we will, maybe there's some typos in the release notes. You know, maybe, I mean, it could be something as benign as that, but we still want to fix that so that we get less questions, right? So we will leave the 17th of April release date. So you'll still be able to see that update 5 came out on the 13th of March. So this is not in update 5. So you'll have to use the date to see how it correlates relative to the update or syskits. And then we have the versions. This should be applies to version. So once those are all fully populated, that will help. Okay. So the feature came out not that long ago, and then our person who's doing it went on vacation and she is back. So we're in process, and she was doing a couple of other things. So that is why we're not fully populated. But this is the general view of the patches. So also on the portal, you have to forgive me because I look at engineering is a group. And there's multiple groups in engineering, but they are one group. Sales is a group, which includes marketing for me. So somewhere in that sales realm, they're also going to start putting your licenses out here. So you'd be able to pull your licenses, because a lot of times the licenses will go to the person who pays the bills. Okay, that is of no use to the system admin. Or the system admin has placed them very safely into that mystery spot where we leave our stuff we can't find. So now they can just go back up to the portal. As they get new licenses, this will be populated. So the licenses will be on the portal, be able to pull your licenses down. As you need them, instead of, oh, I got my license, let me stash that in my secret spot. Okay, so that is going to be there. And then future of the portal, I always say that this is like, I need this for my Christmas present or for my birthday in the years 2024 or 2025 in that order. I want to see customers being able to log their calls again on the portal. Because when we did the SP, we call it SP support for x86. When that was in field test, we had to put our, people could log their calls there. Okay, they went straight into the engineering database. We don't currently have the portal connected to the call handling database. So once that is where it needs to be, that is our goal for that. Okay, is that you can log your own calls, send up your SP support. And the nice thing about that is when that happens, you'll be able to do something like this and see that these are my open calls or whatever, right? These are my open, I'm done, this is a backlog, whatever. Okay, so that will be nice again. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I keep asking, I don't know if this is in your plans or not, but since you log into the portal under your unique username and ID,
Yes,
you have a profile, right?
you do.
Right, I have a
Yes.
profile.
Yes.
So why can't the portal track what I downloaded already? So when I go back to the portal, it's like, is there anything new? And it goes, there's a short list.
I'm going to write that down because we actually, I believe, we for sure know that if you did that pthreads patch, that it's been downloaded. We know that. So then the question is, do we know that you downloaded it? I don't know the answer.
Maybe I'm going with it.
Of course you
Yeah, the question is, they're like, you know,
But those are just entries in a database. for an
do
entry.
you want to know about the two?
I think some kind of a download history.
Something that was, that I didn't download. Yeah, I would run it blaring in my face, because like, well, I didn't.
And there's no reason that his profile can't filter what he's in.
Or change the colors to say that he's already downloaded.
It doesn't matter.
There's stuff that- on the system. Well,
Yes, but no.
That's okay, then I can, then let me just check it off and say, okay, not interested. But I mean,
so you can be posted to the agenda.
So downloaded.
I love the idea. I'm going to run it past the engineering and see what what's a showstopper to that.
I mean, the FTP side was very low support on my side to get things.
Very true.
Transferred it, got the whole package of it. I worried about sorting things out. I was good with that.
Yes.
Now I gotta go click, down, click, down. And it's like, to your point, there could be 100 patches there. I'm saying this.
Okay. I have already logged an enhancement that we be able to select. I have 5 batches. In your case, you have 100. You are well behind the 8 ball there, Al. But
That's fine.
but if there's however many patches, you should, I logged a case where I would like an enhancement. I should be able to collect, these are the patches that I want to download. They can put them all into the same zip file and send them over to me.
In my case, I had multiple accounts. There's multiple contracts.
Yeah.
Well, download this for the customer. It would make it so much easier. Just.
Well, you're still going to be a little confused based on the profile you've downloaded from, right?
Wait for 4 years.
Because I don't think that you with multiple profiles that we're going to,
Multiple identity because there are multiple contracts.
right. So you can switch your organization
Right.
and then you'll.
That's why I say if persistent, it remembers formally, that's a huge plus for me.
But I don't know, I'm going to write it down because we have to do some thinking on this. Do we really want to know that Al Meyer downloaded Kit 5? And for customer A, and now he's on customer B. Do we want to remember that he downloaded for A?
And the other thing,
You should have a different.
I think-
Is that he immediately answers, did you download all the current patches? And you don't have to even ask them, you say, and that's the question. But the no question is, did you get all the patches? Did you download the patch that we put there? If not, you know, shame on you for not putting it in. I can't do it. No connectivity. No. I got you. Sorry. Most of the world, we were talking about my context.
Okay, I have those written down so that I can talk to engineering and the rest of the crew. Derek?
So did you cover all your slides?
I didn't cover them all. We already talked about VSI support output, so I feel like we can continue. It does have, if you haven't seen it, you can get VSI dollar support from vmssoftware.com products area, and you can download it there. Okay, we still want to go back and talk about what you're going to do with your TAM, and then we want to talk about, oh my God, I did use up this time. Okay, let me just quickly I thought I had 15 minutes of talk to do, but man, I have the gift of gab. Okay, so if you're going to go back to your people, if you have people you're going to go back to, does anybody have people they're going to go back to who log calls? Okay, this is what customers have told me to tell you this week, okay? If you have somebody who thinks that they know everything and they call us, this is only a delay in support because you didn't call us because you knew the answer. You called us because you need our help. So it is best to check our ego at the door, and that applies to the support people too, okay? Check our egos at the door and let's have a discussion about what is happening on your system. Because we've all been doing this, most of us have been doing this a long time. We should be able to have our discussion on how we think things should work, how you see things are or are not working, and that will help us get to the crux of the problem faster versus we have a lot of customers who call in who've been troubleshooting and you know, kudos to people who want to work it out themselves. Kudos to people who want to call in and just say, Crimeys, help me. Okay, because if you've spent a lot of time and you spent 3 days getting into your rat hole, it's going to be hard for you to get out. It's going to be very hard. But if you called us on day one, we could have probably solved this sooner. So let's check our egos at the door. And then the other thing is, dang it. The other thing is there's squirrels running through my head, and so I have forgotten. So Derek, we'll come back to that. What is your question?
So one, I support several accounts.
Many.
Many times when they ask for the bond number, sometimes some of the accounts that I handle, bond numbers issued like based on the PO. And the
Yes.
PO is in process of being processed, and then the PO is eventually issued. And sometimes the bond number comes back and change, such that we can't find your bond number because the temporary bond number was issued, but then after the PO's process, then I get a permanent bond.
Yes.
And I think many times I'm figuring it out after. So is there any way to, that's just a comment on that one. But, number two, if you pay support, like under the current licensing structure, you get access to all of the patches of every product available.
If you pay support on Itanium, you're going to get Itanium patches. You're not going to get alpha. Is that what you're asking?
Right, yes.
Okay.
But if, for every product, DFG, you know, VMS, everything.
There are a few products that are licensed separately. I mean, if like
DFG.
like
what?
like DFG.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's just a handful of products that are licensed separately.
Right.
You know, so you would not have those unless you had that on your contract.
Okay. Many times, and there are no more patch bundles.
Right.
Right. No more patch bundles.
Right.
Okay. So, so I'd have to keep track of, like, when they were bundled together, they would put, you know, what version it covers and also the patches that aren't included in that bundle at the time. You know, the new ones that came out since the bundle came out.
So are you saying that you'd like us to make possibly periodically make some kind of a zip file that's
Yep.
2L3 and all of the patches to the date of
Yep.
blah. I'll write it down.
Smell like Windows.
Oh, he's smelling over here. He's just saying that that's a. Okay,
And the other thing,
we'll consider it. We have to decide if that's the right thing for everybody.
and the other thing with, you have ECOs, you used to have ECOs, for TCP/IP, et cetera. Many times those are one-offs or they are cumulative, like the bundle will go back and get the previous ones. Version 5 will have version, ECO 1 through 5, 1 through 4 and 5, and there's notes that go along with that. So those will still be available, right?
Yes.
Okay, and also sometimes it seems like the base, to get into the databases, you use your passport. Your wallet. HP had a passport. Now,
So yeah, I don't remember my pass. I don't have a passport. I can't leave the country.
my bond account going to be the way that I get into.
Okay, so when you log in with your username and your password. Then you should be either an owner or a member of the organizations that you support.
Okay, yeah.
So then up in the right-hand corner there, you can switch the organization to the one that you're interested in. And if you're supporting some alphas, you obviously wouldn't want to look for an Itanium patch on that. You'd
Yes.
want to switch to somebody who had an Itanium.
Okay. If I have VMS-based products and we have like Samba or we have PC-based products, like and sometimes there's patches or version of software for one or both of these. Do you get access to both PC-based products and the VMS products?
Okay, when you say PC-based products, I'm almost offended because
I'm sorry.
you know that we're only giving you a PC version because it makes your VMS work.
Okay.
So if you need something that is gonna, like if you need your ACMS thing, it's going to be part of your VMS kit.
Something goes on my PC or my.
Like
Windows-
there's an ACMS
Windows
DI.
server versus my VMS server.
Yes, that's still part of your,
There are cross patches for each one of those scenarios. So,
but they would be in your Alpha or in your Itanium. I don't think we have any VAX patches out there. Or x86.
another question, are you doing software downloads in? Such that if I did an update, you could download a package and you could eventually put it on an FTP or SFTP site. I could download that package to my PC or my non-VMS server and apply those patches to that server.
Oh, like HP did back, but that was more of a firmware thing.
Not just firmware, but there was patches to the pathos, or patches to Samba, that you needed only on the non-VMS server.
Guess I am not familiar with
Awesome.
these patches. Okay, thank you, sir.
It seems to me like what you said earlier, anything that runs on PC, ACMS desktop connector,
Exactly.
that's delivered with the ACMS kit, the VMS kit.
And if we have a patch to that, it would be under your platform, whatever that
Right.
is.
Under-
Area, so I would assume it would show up.
Right, ACMS would be, if you have Itanium, ACMS on your PC would still be in there, yes.
Okay.
You're making me choke on that. Okay, so the other thing is, when you call support, you always get more flies with honey than vinegar, okay? So we have our level 1. They're in training. Some of them know exactly what you're talking about, and some know not what you're talking about. So just be polite. And you know what? When I took my first call, maybe not my first call, but in the first week of my calls, I was working on something and I nailed it. And then the by the way questions came. And I did not nail it. And I'm working it as best as I can. And I'm thinking, oh my God, we need someone on the phone who knows what they're doing. Okay. And I knew that someone was not me. But like today, I would just get that someone. I didn't have the confidence to just go get that someone back then. I really wish that customer politely would have said to me, Debbie, can we have somebody else helping us out here today? This is not a terrible question to ask. Like, do we have, if you want to ask someone to bring a backup person on the phone? Second opinion? Can we have a second opinion? That's a polite way to say. Debbie, you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so we did get to our last little bit. I did run over like everybody else, so now I feel pretty proud about that. If you have questions, email me.